So to make the dough, you're gonna put in 700 grams of flour, 5 grams of yeast, and you're gonna bloom the yeast in that water. Once it's bloomed, it'll look foamy like this. If it's not like this, but you know that the yeast is fine, you don't have to wait that long. Like here, I didn't really wait that long. Then you're gonna put in your salt. I put in 10 grams, and then you put in a kilogram of flour just slowly. So it's 1,000 grams. And so this is what's called a 70% hydration dough, because you're taking 70% of the total weight in flour and adding that much in water. So since I have a kilogram of flour, and this is double OTBO, you can also use all-purpose if you want. You're gonna take that and multiply it by 0.7, and then that is gonna be the weight of water. You just slowly add in the flour, making sure that all of it gets hydrated, and it'll be really sticky at the end, but that's okay, that's how it should be. So, yeah. So here, I know it's kind of sped up, but what you're gonna do is something called a slap and fold. So you're gonna pick it up by the side, slap it over on itself, and fold it over. Like this. This is gonna develop the gluten a little bit, and since it's so sticky, you can't just knead it like normal. You kind of have to do this, or it'll just stick to your counter in your hands. And so I'm just going to do this over and over until it comes together as a nice little dough ball. And as you keep working it, it'll get less sticky and less sticky. And then you'll be left with something like this. You do not need to add any more flour. It'll mess up the hydration. So all you have to do is keep kneading it, and it will come together like a nice, like this. So then you're just going to cover it with a damp towel and then leave it overnight. So I did this at night, so then I would just, then I left it overnight. And you want to wait until it's risen in size, like this, and then you are going to punch it down and then do more slap and folds. Just like this. And then you're just going to put it back and cover it again. So you're going to do that for about 2 days, letting it rise and then punching it down over and over to develop, one, the gluten, and then the flavor. Because as it ferments, the yeast changes the flavor and converts some of the flour into alcohol, and you're not going to taste actual alcohol in the end because it burns off, but it leaves a really nice flavor within the dough. So next you're going to take your dough, weigh it out, and then you're gonna divide that weight by 6, and then that's gonna be the weight per pizza. So you're just gonna divide it over, and then put it into a proofing basket or any covered device or covered thing. So yeah. Here is just a tortillas recipe. So you're just gonna add half a cup of butter to your flour until you get this cornmeal texture, and then you add your salt and water until it comes together. I had to keep adding more and more water, or I had to keep adding more and more flour because this was a little too much water. But you always want to start with too much water and then bring it down to a lower hydration by adding more flour. And this is just some lukewarm water. You just keep kneading until you get a texture that's pretty soft and something you can roll out and it's not going to be too sticky, but also something that's not going to be too hard to roll out and too dense and too thick. This is something that you kind of just need to do a few times until you get the right texture and the right ratios. For this one, I think I started with 3 cups of flour, half a cup of butter, and 2 cups of water, and then a tablespoon of salt. And then I obviously added more and more flour until I got something that was pretty smooth and was pretty easy to knead without sticking. This is the final texture that I settled on. It could have used a little more water or a little more flour, but I decided that it was going to be good, and it rolled out and cooked pretty well. So next you divide it into equal pieces, then you just roll them out, and you want to make sure that they get really thin. They should be thin enough that you can almost see through them. And then you would need to get your cast iron pan or comal really hot, so almost 500 degrees, or I did a little under that. And then all you're gonna do is put them in the pan, wait until they puff up, and then get a little bit charred. That's pretty much it. You end up with these tortillas, and they were really good. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.